Welcome to the Masterclass series. My name is Sam. I'm going to be your instructor. I'm going to be walking you guys through everything. And we are presented by Impact Vets. Check them out at www.impactvets.org. And with that, let's get started. All right, now we're going to talk about education, your licenses, your certifications, your volunteer experience. We're going to lump all that together. It's going to be nice and quick and easy. Once again, if you're missing any sections, it's very simple. Go to the top of your header section right here, click on add section and add whatever section you may be missing right now. But let's drop down and let's talk about our education. So how much schooling do you put in? Whatever you're comfortable with, right? Think about what is the purpose of our LinkedIn profile. It's all about that rapport building, that shared experience, right? So you put in that you went to a certain high school. I went to Cliffside Park High School. That's where I graduated from. Maybe you grew up in Bergen County as well, in North Jersey, right? You know where Cliffside Park High School is. I also went to Northern Highlands High School. I also went to Ridgewood High School. I went to 3 different high schools, right? Crazy. But maybe you went to those same high schools, so it's a shared experience, right? So when it comes to education, put the colleges, the schools that you went to. Now, one of the concerns I get, and a lot of it comes from like my veterans and my military folks is, hey, Sam, I went to a lot of different colleges, right? It took me, I moved around a lot and I kept switching colleges and, ask yourself, I'm not comfortable putting like 7 different colleges, right? That's okay. Right. You could put the college that you graduated from. You could put the colleges that had the most impact, or maybe the colleges that you feel will have the most name recognition. So if there's only 2 or 3 colleges that you want to put out of the 8 or 9 that you went to, that's okay. Right. It's all about what's comfortable for you, but put the schools that you went to, because once again, you never know who went to the same school. You never know if someone was, part of the crosstown rivals or whatever the case may be. It's all about shared experiences, and we can't do that unless we know who you are. Now, licenses and certifications. Obviously, all of your active licenses and certifications should go into this section. If it's active, not expired, put it on here. Now, what about the certifications that are expired? Well, there's a couple simple rules of thumb when it comes to expired certifications. One, are you willing to and able to talk intelligently about that certification, right? I've held a lot of certifications in my career in IT, and there's some certifications that I don't want to talk about anymore, right? I'm not a big, I might not be a big Microsoft guy or a big Cisco guy or whatever, and I'm just not comfortable talking about that technology, or I haven't touched the technology in like 10 years or whatever. If that's the case, then don't put that certification on here. All right, because the second you put that certification on your LinkedIn, on your resume, now it's fair game for me to ask you about it, ask you technical questions in regards to that certification in your interview, right? The other thing with certifications is, are you willing to get that certification again? If you have, let's say you put CCNA, Cisco Certified Network Associate, and you're like, oh, I never want to take that test again. Well, then don't put it on your LinkedIn. Don't put it on your resume, because, if someone hires you, one of the provisions of that hire might be that you have to get that certification within 60 days of hire or 90 days of hire, right? Hey, we really like you, but we really like you to have this cert. I saw that you had it before. We need you to get it again. If that's not something you're willing to do, don't put it on there. So 2 rules. 1, if you have to be able to talk intelligently about the cert. 2, you have to be willing to get it again within 60 to 90 days of hire. If you don't meet those 2 criteria, my recommendation is leave that license, leave that certification off of your list. And finally, we have your volunteer experience. Once again, it comes back to rapport. It comes back to that shared experience. So let's say you put that you worked at, you volunteer for Habitat for Humanity. I'll be honest with you, I've been wanting to volunteer for Habitat for Humanity. I just don't know enough about it. I haven't had time to look into it. I haven't, but if I know that you've done it before and that you're active in it and I want to do it, that's something that I would bring up in an interview. I'd be like, hey, I saw that you do have Habitat for Humanity. I've always wanted to do it. Can you share something about that? Remember, in an interview scenario, especially, it's an emotional transaction, which we're going to talk about in the interview class, in the interview course. But, in that conversation, you're taking it away from the technical, you're taking it from the ability, and you're bringing it to you. Who are you, right? And that's where the volunteer experience really shines. Is it really talks about your character, and it creates a separate talking point outside of the technical. Okay, so once again, education, license, certifications, volunteer experience. Put what you're comfortable with. um, you know Education, the schools that you're comfortable with, that that you want to put in there. Certifications, remember those two rules. Can you talk about it intelligently? Are you willing to get it again? If you're not willing to hit those two things, leave it off your LinkedIn, leave it off your resume. All right. Once again, you have any questions, hit it on the comments below. I'll always be happy to answer any questions, or you can always message me here on LinkedIn. We'll talk soon. All right, that's it for now. Once again, we are presented by Impact Vets, impactvets.org. If you want more information, if you found this course helpful, we ask that you please try and donate. A large donation amount would be great. If a large donation amount is too much, you can't just do it right now, then please think about doing a small donation amount, but make it recurring, like a $20 donation for 12 months. That would be great. Really appreciate it. We'll see you in the next course.